bring up our next comedian. As I said, he is the founder of our local troupe here under the umbrella of Clackamas NAMI, and he is an amazing guy. I'm going to bring him up now to share his personal perspective on life. Welcome, will you, Dave Mowry.
Thank you very much. Look, Moose.
Yes, over there, look.
Hi. Being mentally ill, I tend to notice discrimination where some other people don't. Take happy hour, for instance. I think that's being discriminatory. There should also be an unhappy hour for depressed people. And bipolar people could go to both. And when one of the medications I take for my bipolar is notorious for weight gain. And true to form, when I started taking it, I gained 40 pounds. And I realized I was out of shape when I got winded tying my shoe. But I decided to do something about it. I decided to join a health club. I joined 24-hour fitness, or as they call it in my case, 24-minute fitness. And I started doing the treadmill. And I realized after a while that the treadmill was a perfect exercise for somebody with a mental illness because you do the same thing over and over and over again, and you never get anywhere. And the other day I was on the treadmill and the guy next to me looked over and he said, "You're not going very fast." I said, "That's okay, my mind's racing." I think there should be a dating service for people with a mental illness. I can see the postings now. Paranoid white male seeks paranoid white female to share compound in Idaho. Or paranoid female seeks male with no government connections. Or my favorite, multiple personality female seeks multiple personality male for double dates. And then it's been rewarding recently to see, some people, famous people come out talking about their mental illness. Catherine Zeta-Jones a while back, and then more recently Patrick Kennedy. And then recently I read in the newspaper where Santa Claus took off from the South Pole last year. So yes, even Santa is bipolar. And when I was first diagnosed, my kids were young and we sat around the dinner table and we talked about it. And the next day my daughter Megan went to school and in class she was drawing. And the teacher came up to her and said, "Megan, that's interesting, what are you drawing?" And Megan said, "Well, it's a bipolar bear." And the teacher said, "A bipolar bear, can you tell me about it?" And she said, "Well, it's white. It lives at the North Pole, it eats fish, and it takes Prozac." So when I've had a lot of treatment. I've had just about had every treatment for my mental illness, and I chose at one point to do electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT, or shock treatment because I needed something different. And I did it and it worked and it was really good, but one of the side effects was short-term memory loss. And true to form, I had problems. I'd be driving to the grocery store and end up at the pharmacy. Or I'd be driving to the gas station and end up at the library. I even forgot I was married. So maybe it wasn't so bad after all. But the ECT worked so well that I got myself a portable ECT machine. It's called a taser. And when I get down, I just tase myself on the head. It works really well. It works so well, the other people in my support group want me to tase them in the head also. I'm thinking about charging. This is the most important part of my set, and that's the audience participation part. So I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to ask like a who question. You guys will say who, and if I ask what, you guys say what or where or how. So when I was in the psychiatric unit, I noticed some things, like why do they keep the doors locked to the psychiatric unit?
Why?
there's so many people trying to get in. What did the fellow with multiple personality disorder say when he sat down to watch the game?
What?
Who's playing? Who's playing? Who's playing? Who's playing? And where do most injuries occur in the psyche unit?
Where?
People fighting for a position in the medication line. And that's just the nurses. But being mentally ill isn't all bad. It's like being in an exclusive club. We even have our own handshake. Yes. And when I went into the hospital, I was confused. I didn't know where it was. I thought it was a hotel, and so I was in there. And on the submit to the punchline, it's really good. And on the second day, I met with a psychiatrist. And he said, well, how's it going? I said, not too bad, but the service here sucks. I ordered a margarita when I got here, and it still hasn't arrived yet. And he said, okay, and wrote something down on his pad, and then he said, well, do you know where you are? And I said, well, my wife said it was going to be a surprise. I'm hoping St. Thomas. He said, no, it's St. Vincent's. I said, oh, is that in the Caribbean? And then when there was a time when things were really bad and I decided to end it all, and I went into the bathroom and I took a bunch of pills, and afterwards I called my wife for help. She said there are more pills under the sink. And then one of the, I've got the bipolar disorder, but I've also got anxiety. And the anxiety, the bipolar was up and down, and as I got older, the highs got higher and the lows got lower, and it got worse and worse. But there was some time in between. But with the anxiety, it was just constant. It was always there, and it was awful. It was overpowering. And one of the things with the anxiety disorder is I couldn't go into a public restroom and use the facility as if anybody else was in the restroom. I tried. I just couldn't. So I'd have to leave the restroom and wait outside, and sometimes for 10 minutes, sometimes half an hour. But finally, everybody was gone. I could go in and use the facility. And then, I didn't realize how things were improving, but I went to a movie 2 weeks ago. And after the movie, I went into the restroom, and there were other people in there, and I went up to the urinal, and wow, took care of business. And it struck me how far I'd come. And I stepped back from the urinal and went, yes, yes, yes! And the other people in the restroom looked at me like I was crazy. I said, no, not anymore. Thank you, you've been great.
Thank you, Dave. And I will tell you that Dave has been an amazing facilitator for this class over the sessions that I've done with him. He's just great about helping everybody else find their funny, and he has clearly already found his. Okay, so all the comedians up here. All the comedians up here for one more fabulous round of applause. Into the world. Thank you very much. Oh, and if any of you are interested in a little exercise, fresh air, and stigma busting, there's a NAMI walk next Sunday. You can find it on the NAMI website. Yeah.